Hello, hello. Happy Sunday and happy Easter, everyone. So for those of you that know me well, you know that I go to church basically twice a year now, Easter and Christmas. And so today's Easter for my Christian friends who know that. For those of you that don't know, today's Easter. I grew up in the Lutheran church. My parents still go to a Lutheran church, and so that's where I go. Lutheran service, not super exciting, right? Liturgy where the pastor says one thing, we repeat back something else. It's this back and forth liturgy. It's singing. The music's good. Even old hymns, I don't mind. I like them. They remind me of my childhood. But today there was this contemporary music playing at church. So really good music. Today's Easter. And for those of you, my non-Christian friends that don't know, Easter is the celebration of the day that Christ rose from the dead after being crucified. And so the pastor obviously was talking about this Easter story, the rising of Christ from the dead. And the story goes on to talk about the women who, after he was crucified, Christ was placed in this tomb. And there's this big boulder cover put over the entrance to the tomb. And so these women were going to go to the tomb and wash the body of Jesus. So they were preparing their cloths and their whatever that they were going to wash his body, and they were going to the tomb. And I've heard this story a million times growing up as a kid in a Christian church, Lutheran church. But what he pointed out today, which I thought was super interesting, is he pointed out that these women, they didn't even think about how they would get the rock moved away to get in and wash the body of Christ. Because at that point, they did not know that he had risen from the dead. He was dead. They were going to the tomb and they were going to wash his body. Well, when they arrived at the tomb, the stone had been rolled away. And so that's the story I've always heard, right? But what the pastor focused on today was so amazing. He focused on this idea that they went not knowing how they would roll the stone away. How were they going to get into the tomb? They never thought about it. They just went. And so then he asked us, do we forge ahead in our lives when we know there will be obstacles, or do we get stuck? That was such an amazing question for us. And it was such a good epiphany for me personally, because I'm the guy who gets stuck. I'm a planner. I have to know all the things that will or could or might happen. And I get in my head, and all of those things stop me from moving ahead. And so that for me today was this explosion of joy in my head, because it was this realization that I got to stop doing that. I got to just forge ahead. And when there's when there's a boulder in front of a tomb, metaphor, I will figure out a way to move that boulder. So my question is, how many of you are like me? You plan to the extent that you just don't forge ahead. I'm going to stop using that boulder in front of the tomb idea to get myself stuck, and I'm going to move past. I'm going to forge ahead and stop letting things get in the way. So I hope you'll join me and do the same thing. That's what I got. Happy Easter again to all my Christian friends. Happy Sunday to everyone else. Love, love.